Welcome back to season 7 of Comic Book Nation. Or is that what this is? Is that what this is? The only show that does it all for geek culture. If you're into the live chat, which you should be, because then you get to know these things live as they happen. It's not my regular co-host here today. Matt's off doing things as a new papa. Janelle is fighting the internet currently. So this week, Peacemaker is back. And in Peacemaker Season 2, Episode 1, James Gunn dropped a bomb on all our heads, settling some much-heated DCU versus DCU debate. And there were only people to bring on to help me do that.
Okay, I cannot
about the DC. Hey, you know we're live. You know we're live. Hey, Janelle, you know we're live.
Can she hear us?
Hello.
No, I think she's Rich. Please tell her we're live.
I thought maybe she just couldn't hear.
Anyway, no. Welcome to Comic Book Nation. So there are only two people I could bring on to help me talk about what the hell is happening between the DCEU and the DCU. And that would have to be the two people who I was yelling at about this a decade ago. With me today is the Screen Rant Underground reunion, the podcast X promo. I guess this would serve as Ben Kendrick and Rob Keys, the heads of Screen, or well, that'll be backwards, the heads of comicbook.com and screenrant.com, respectively. And two of my old friends from back in the day. So some of you on here know what this is all about. You've been with us since the beginning. Shout out to all the OG listeners who are freaking out right now because either you heard us on that podcast that started a lot of podcasts. You guys know that the year 2015 was the year of explosion of podcasts, right? Like they became big business like in 2015. We missed that boat. But anyway, we could have all been retired.
Just really let's cancel ours. Yeah,
we beat that by 5 years.
Yeah, exactly. So we had a lot of debates that are now classic, including what the hell is the DCU or the DCEU and what that future was. These guys were there for that. But now it seems like we're finally putting this to rest. So who better to hop on and help me talk about that than Ben and Rob? So we're going to get to that Peacemaker Season 2. But, of course, this is Comic Book Nation, and we got a lot more to talk about. So today we have to also keep talking about Alien Earth and what just happened in that show. We got to talk about some geek news. So why don't we get started there? Oh, man, I didn't realize how much this would be a fun reunion debate. First of all, boys, how are you both? I mean, I've been talking a lot, but how are you guys?
Good, man. I know you guys just saw each other, which is awesome. I wish I was there. To be clear, I only came here and agreed to do this, Kofi, so I can see your facial hair. It's looking good, dude. I've never seen you like this. It looks awesome. You look young.
Yeah, I've been in Nashville too long. I figured I had to just settle in and start growing a handlebar mustache. I also watched Black Dynamite a couple of times, and I was like, you know what? I should be doing more. So I just let it start growing out. Also, it was really just a test to see how I have a theory that my wife can't actually make out my face, that she's low-key blind, that she can't actually tell and rate how handsome I am, or not. And so I was just like, I'm going to grow it out. And it took about a week and a half before she actually picked up on it. So now my theory is pretty much confirmed that she's just blind and treats me like she thinks I'm a 3 or something. It's crazy. But
this was actually a topic of conversation at drinks the other night as well, Rob.
Yeah, I mean, it comes up a lot. Yeah.
How great yours
is. Specifically, yeah, I mean.
Oh, no, that was a topic of conversation last night. We were looking at an old photo of Ben. We were talking about the Playboy Mansion visit, and Ben pulled out the picture, and everybody was like, who is that?
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's dating us.
Yeah. It was
Ben in his Playboy Mansion era. But I was freaking out about how the game rant team of everybody was just at the Playboy Mansion partying up. I was just in some weird square apartment in New York.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. But anyway, so that's just a little bit of history. We just giving you guys just a quick recap of history. But let's get on track and get to things, because I know everybody's busy. I'm busy. You guys are busy. We got to keep running websites and trying to fight with Google and do all this other stuff. But first topic of today, funny enough, is Man of Steel versus Superman box office. Here is another topic that is legendary in the Screen Rant Underground pantheon. we were one of the first to like really dig into Man of Steel. One of the first reviews. I link to you guys all the time with that review. Don't tell a comic book, but I throw a little Man of Steel review.
Nice.
It's just to let some of these kids out here know before they speak up. Like we were out here really doing this like back when. But Rob, I know you're very big on box office analysis.
Yeah.
How do you feel about, because we have several articles, I'm sure you have like 40 articles about, analyzing this from every which way, but it's kind of, do you feel, I'm kind of asking the larger question here is, which one of these do you think, when we say like the term win, was that actually the bigger win and why? Yeah,
it's a good question. I think of it in two main ways. One, raw box office numbers, which people love right now to throw around. Despite the trends of raw audience numbers and average ticket prices, there's like the whole financial element of it, and then the international gross versus domestic gross. But what I care about when you say win is like which one matters most, not now, but end of the year and over the next 5 years. I think after Man of Steel, the three of us had so many wonderful debates about this. Ben, you and I saw this together in LA, I think, with a whole group of people from Game
with Anthony Termino like covering his. Anthony Termino was like covering his eyes during the
trailers,
during the like previews and stuff.
Yeah, still does that. He still does that. We walked out of that theater, and even of our group of like 6 or 8 of us, it was split, right? I think most of us loved elements of it. We wanted to see more Cavill, but a lot of people, the younger group, especially with us, did not like it at all. And of course, the trend afterwards of critical and audience reception to BVS and then Justice League, was that a win? No, they botched step 2 right off the bat. Whereas with James Gunn, the costs were more controlled. We're in an era where these superhero and genre fare is so much more embedded. So it's not the new thing, it's the reset thing. But when you bring in James Gunn, though, you have this meticulous plan in a very cost-controlled environment. So I think this one's a win because we can, even if some people come out of this film saying it's not the greatest, everyone can universally say there's so many good things about it. And we already know there's so many good things coming. There's a plan in place, which is the big topic we should discuss in the future, having an actual plan versus what they didn't have back then. So like apples to apples, I think this one's the winner because we are excited for what's coming next. And there is so much coming next with all the learnings that came from the other example, right? So I think 2025 Superman is the bigger win. Short and long term, you think of it that way.
I'm kind of simple on this. That was not the way to put that, but I have maintained the same kind of point in this before release, during release, now since release, which was for me, Superman is the branding win because it's the thing that made me kind of flipped a light switch in my brain that made me realize like, oh, we kind of hijacked this whole superhero genre after Nolan, and like we've been making superhero films, but these have been like largely for more and more and more skewing towards adult audiences, and we wanted the adult takes and the more mature takes and the let's honor the material with prestige level filmmaking and stuff. But also these are also supposed to be kind of wonderment for children. That's like a big part of it. And now that I have kids, I care. So I was taking my son, and that was kind of the metric for me was how did he come out of Superman? And he came out caring about Superman for the first time in his life. And I was like, okay, that's what we want. Like we want more of this to be family friendly, to be able to appeal to a wider range of people. And like, yeah, and that did that. It also has sparked, and I think Superman also did this trick that nobody's giving it credit for, which is because Creature Commandos is still under the radar. Peacemaker's just starting now. But the variation in content, that's all one universe, is low-key the kind of holy grail that everybody's been trying to figure out, that James Gunn's kind of working out. Like, we're going to get a Clayface movie that's straight up like a Mike Flanagan body horror movie. But it's going to belong to the Batman of the same universe who also fits with the golly gosh Superman.
Yeah.
Right? Creature Commandos is a bunch of sex, cursing, killing nutsness, but that General Flag is our guy through all of this so far. He's our Nick Fury, right? And shout out to Frank Grillo. I know it's been a long haul, buddy, but you made it. That's
that was back when you talked about Screaming Underground stuff. That was the Caw, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't that?
Oh yeah. No.
Yeah.
No, I pulled up that video a couple times too. Every time we go to Comic-Con, I pull up that video to illustrate to people and to prepare people for what a Comic-Con line is. If we're sending like new personalities, I'm like, here's an extreme case. Like,
I have to say this.
So
I think Frank Grillo is intertwined with our history of podcasting for sure. I think we have interviewed him, and maybe you have too. I feel like 5 times a year because of all these other projects he was doing. But on this topic, when I visited the Superman set, afterwards we're in the hotel having food and drinks, and guess who walks by in the street with a crazy hat and most colorful pants I've ever seen? But Frank Grillo at like 1 PM. And I'll tell you this, he had a good day. You know what I mean? There's that kind of Frank Grillo. So he's loving life right now, which was a wondrous thing to see.
Hey, I'm not mad at him. Let him love it. But like he's a through line in all this, my point is, and we're already having projects where right after Superman, we get a more rated R thing like Peacemaker that has an orgy in the first episode. You know what I mean? Like a full nude orgy, which I don't know if I'm just getting older or what, but yeah, no. No, I want to appreciate the anatomy of the human body in my imagination so much more so than seeing it. Yeah, so we've done this. We're having this universe of different tones, different flavors, different ratings, like, and it's all gelling together and feeling like it's logically one place. So I think that is a big win for Superman, as well as the box office. And I think we did this last week, so we're not going to relitigate this, but we did the whole comparison to Batman Begins and how close of a case this is to like where a franchise was mired in this kind of creative stall. Then you get this filmmaker that not everybody was like, okay, that guy, like, but they put out a vision, and it's a solid win. It's like, okay, that was solid, like, but we're gearing up to something that's going to be bigger.
Can I ask you a question, Kofi? A big part of it, I think it's the biggest point you made there, and I agree with it, is like how it affected kids and families. Like you can watch this and be excited for Superman. And I've always noted since before the film came out that, you know, Rachel and David as like Lois and Clark, like they're such great ambassadors for this franchise. They are so likable by all audiences. But the other big thing, I'm curious, with your kids, did they also have similar feelings for some of the other characters? Because unlike Man of Steel, it wasn't just introducing Superman and the idea of an alien in Krypton. This is introducing an established world full of colorful, vibrant, amazing heroes. So I'm curious what they thought of like Hawk Girl and Mr. Terrific. Did they have that same sort of?
I don't know if those. He knew that there's like a team. I think Mr. Terrific really stood out to him because Mr. Terrific made him laugh and stuff like that. And you know the line, "I'm goddamn Mr. Terrific." He just looked at me and his eyes were like, "Yeah," you know, he heard a curse word and you know something. So he was great. Yeah, Guy Gardner, I think he now kind of has questions about Green Lantern. He knows a little bit about DC, but like he had questions about Green Lantern. And like I don't know if Hawk Girl was ever like in there strong enough for him to like latch onto for him. But I think it did its point. Superman was what he latched onto, and he was just all like, you know, Superman and Lois Lane and seeing that they liked each other. Like he was all into that, like, you know. And so it was that kind of, and that was the kind of selling point. Even in this crowded world, it was still Superman that he kind of was managed to focus on, which is good. All right, Janelle's here. Let's break up this conversation for a minute. You've had a chaotic day. We had a surprise. We were gonna surprise you, but you outwitted our surprise with your surprise. So yeah, our old buddies Rob and Ben from my old show are here. We thought we were gonna toss you in the middle and of this kind of show today as we discuss Peacemaker and a bunch of other stuff. But Ben, you're our biggest Superman guy, low key. So like before we move on to some new topics, and I think we're gonna maybe speed past some of these other ones and get to the good stuff. But how do you feel?
Well, no, I mean it's like I'm on hotel internet as Kofi was indicating. I was in the office last night, so if I'm delayed or anything sounds weird, I apologize. I don't have all my cool shit behind me, like my nerdy stuff. I look like too corporate now or something, but
stop cursing.
I guess I do have a bit of a.
You're supposed to be in charge of this, like.
Yeah.
Rocking it.
No, you know what? Like I think I went into Superman feeling like the trailers did not sell me much. I thought the tone was just kind of all over the place in the trailers, and it made me kind of be like, man, has James Gunn this to the extent that it's like just he was having fun on set with all these people he likes working with, but the movie's not going to come together in a way that's like endearing or cohesive. And I went into that thing and I had so much fun, and then came out of it like really wanting to take my 4-year-old daughter, but she's like she's too young. I know that objectively, but it's like, because I'm definitely the dad sometimes that sees, like, I'm at these movies, like PG-13 movies, and I'm like, you know, you hear like a baby crying, or you hear like, you see a 3-year-old walking out or something, and I'm kind of like, man, was that like, not to like judge other parents, but just kind of like, I don't think I would have done that. But this was the time where I was like, I know that someone gets shot in the head in this movie, and also there's like curse words and there's like people's teeth getting punched out, and I was like, could I like make it justifiable for my kid to go and see this? Because she loves crypto, and like I think she would think it was funny. Like she likes a lot of like physical comedy. So like I think she would have thought like some of the visual gags and stuff like that were really fun, and she knows I love Superman. So I think what you guys are saying is really accurate, that even if the movie itself, in terms of box office or in terms of just like overall quality, like is divisive or didn't like live up to expectations in terms of like maybe the box office, it's like, I think it set the table in a way that hasn't been set since like Iron Man, and in a way like that, where people like are gonna go see that Supergirl movie now because that just seems so wild and so kind of like different from this one, and she seems great in that. You want to see more Mr. Terrific. Like if you put Mr. Terrific in a trailer for, you know, the upcoming Superman sequel, people will be there for that. And so I think even if it, you know, it's going to make a ton of money on merchandising and stuff too, I think it'll make more money probably on merchandising than Man of Steel did, because of that kid demographic that it like kind of successfully courted. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was a really successful way to sort of kick this thing off. And I have, you know, there are things about the movie I could nitpick or something, but I think like it did what its primary job as a universe sort of launching point was supposed to do. And I think it did really well with that. And it was entertaining to boot. Like it wasn't just like corporate product that pushed all these characters in. It felt sincere in why they were in the movie and stuff.
All right, well, there you have it. I think we're all on the same page. Superman won. Yay! Well, we'll see what comes next. And I think Supergirl's going to be the really telling thing. If Supergirl does what I think a Craig Gillespie female-centered film with like an edgier take on a superheroine character could do, it could. If they nail that, then like, yeah, then James Gunn's like, you know, he's just picking targets at this point. It's like, let's do this kind of movie. Let's do this kind of movie. Let's do this kind of movie. And like, it all can be in one universe. So that'll be a massive win, but we'll see. You know, on top of it. Real quick, we're finally getting some new Star Trek movies. Star Trek, now that we got the Paramount Skydance deal done. You did it, Karen. We got it done. It's all through. So we are, I'm never going to stop subbing. They're going to make Star Trek a focus because they have to. Let's just put that out there. There ain't going to be no Halo stuff, so there's going to be some Star Trek stuff. And we're finally going to start dusting off Star Trek movies, which I think needs to happen. I think, like a lot of things, as we shake off the brain fog of the pandemic, like, there are a lot of things that people, I've had this conversation many times this week. People are like, when's it due? I'm like, yeah, there are a lot of things I'm going back from the pandemic and being like, yeah, I watch those things when I had to, but maybe not the greatest. So there's a lot of Star Trek streaming that was like that in the last few years. You know, I was appreciative to have something, but yeah, the last few seasons of Discovery, that second season of, oh my God, of Picard, like it was rough. So, you know, I'm glad for Strange New Worlds. Still entertaining, but it feels like this whole Star Trek streaming universe thing has lost a little bit of its luster. It's not nearly must-see TV. I think Star Trek getting back on a movie screen after seeing a Fantastic Four, which was clearly like from a Star Trek movie or episode, I think, like, yeah, we need more of that on the big screen. We need more space, science, like sci-fi kind of stuff. We expect screen, so I'm for it. I know, Rob, a little bit about Star Trek. How do you feel?
Yeah. Well, my first thought is I'm genuinely excited as a lifelong Trek fan. I've seen every episode of every show, and like you, the Paramount Plus fare outside of Strange New Worlds, which I'm genuinely enjoying right now, the current season. You're totally right. And in that Section 31 example, where they took an Oscar winner and just released garbage, was just it hurts me deep down inside to my core.
That is
but
the
my
blade of Star Trek.
So bad. My first reaction though
it was
is
just
a
like
flashback.
it should have been so easy.
I know.
It should have been so easy. Like it was just Star Trek espionage crew. Cool. Let's get busy.
And tie it into lore with the Section 31 of it all. Yeah, absolute misfire. It's embarrassing, really, and it really hurt the IP. So this is a chance for Skydance coming in to kind of redo it all. But look, my first reaction was almost like a whiplash effect, because if you go back like 6 years ago, or almost 6 years ago, with the Viacom CBS merger, we had the exact same news. Back then, there were like 2 Trek movies in development, and there's all this talk of the Tarantino of it all in the background doing his own thing, which I would still love to see. By the way,
Imagine working from them and having to report that.
Yes, those were the days. And
no, you're not hostages anymore, Kofi. You can call it like you see it.
Well, I'm just saying, like, it was just like the company. It was just insane, because we would be sometimes the last to hear this. Everybody else would be reporting this, and we're like, "What is wrong with you? Like, what is going on? And why won't you tell us? Like, why won't you tell us? Like,
we work here.
This would have been a great exclusive for ComicBook.com.
Yeah, or just so we know what's going on, so we can help you like sell this idea. Like, yeah.
They clearly didn't know, but here you'll appreciate this callback. At that time, 6 years ago, when 2 Trek movies were reportedly in development, and they always have scripts coming in for this, by the way, but Star Trek 4, the continuation of Chris Pine's Kirk and crew, was being worked on by none other than Noah Hawley.
Yeah.
Who's crushing it right now with Alien Earth. What, man, I would love to see that Noah Hawley.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Series. But
a Tarantino Star Trek and a Noah Hawley Star Trek, both of those would have been really nuts.
A whole beautiful reset of the franchise.
Yeah. I mean, they've worked really. But I can tell you, Paramount's really good at working really hard to fumble the bag. Like they are experts at it.
Yeah.
They love
Kofi out loud do not necessarily represent the opinions of comicbook.com as a
these are just independent podcast opinions. These are all alleged, all alleged. Yeah, but you're right. So we'll see. We'll put a pin on that. Something that's a little more real is Super Troopers 3. That is filming. Broken Lizard is currently filming Super Troopers 3. And after seeing Naked Gun this year, I put this in here because I'm all about it. I'm pushing comedy. We need comedies back in theaters. Like seeing Naked Gun was a great time. Laughing with other human beings that I didn't know. It was like the only time I felt relaxed being around other human beings in years. Like total facts. And I'm not even trying to be funny. It was like a weird psychological experiment. We all came out and we were all like, yeah, happy with each other. And I was like, I do not know this feeling.
The marketing campaign for that was like really good too, though, because they like really leaned into that whole thing, right? Like comedy, back, like save comedy. I thought that was a smart, because you look at those trailers and I mean that's all it is. Like you can't. I mean, there's nothing. I mean, it's it's Naked Gun. It's like it's not going to be a serious thing anyway. But it's like I think they really leaned into that. Like you're going to go to the theater. This is just like a raucous good time, and you're gonna laugh with other people, and that's such a unique feeling in a time when we're all watching half of these movies on streaming and not getting that experience.
Oh yeah, it was crazy. So I want more. Super Troopers was another example of being in a theater. And back in the day when comedies were just things you went to because they were comedies and you didn't really even know that much about them, and you just went in, you didn't know all the jokes, and you just were like, wait, what is this? And then you had some good things. You saw a Super Troopers or a Super Bad or or a Road Trip or any of those other ones. Euro Trip.
Euro Trip.
Yeah. Wow. Great.
Euro Trip.
All right. Scotty doesn't know. Scotty doesn't know. Scotty doesn't know. All right.
Janelle, like, were you a Super Troopers person? I don't know, like,
No.
Yeah, don't derail us. Stop.
No.
Stop.
Don't.
Trying to be inclusive.
I'm gonna go watch 1 and 2 so that I.
Well, watch the first one.
Okay.
Watch the first one.
Yeah, don't worry about the second one. Don't worry about the
second one's okay. Yeah, second one's just okay, but the first one's a classic, man. That first scene is classic. It's great.
Yeah, that's good.
I think they're on
just
Hulu.
plug you out when you watch the first scene. The tripping kid. He married Joan from Mad Men, so just know that.
Yeah, I mean, life comes at you fast. No, I was asking because I know like Janelle has like these weird like kind of like off.
Do not derail us with Janelle's stories. Yeah,
I'm just telling you, she could be
keep
like
this on the rail today.
She could be like, well, I was on the set of that movie because like I had a friend who was in production. Like I didn't know, I wasn't sure.
No, don't derail us into like Janelle's Forrest Gump life. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take a break because when we get back, we are gonna do our deep dives into Peacemaker season 2 premiere and Alien Earth episode 3. So hang around for that. Do you really want to taste it? All right. Season 2 is here. And right in the premiere episode, we get a pretty controversial retcon. So, we're going to be talking spoilers about this. I know some of you are just on the live stream, may not be have watched it yet. If not, you want to drop off. But yeah, we're going to be getting into Peacemaker season 2 premiere because for everybody on the audio feed, they're probably going to be clicking onto this after they've watched it. So, what did you guys? Let's just deal with the elephant in the room. We were led to believe kind of this was early on, and I know everybody in the industry who went to like interviews and panels and stuff heard from Gunn, but like to the larger public, I think they still are coming into this thinking that like Peacemaker is in the DCEU, and this season's going to be something about him going over the other universe, yada, yada, yada. But we get that thrown out of the window almost immediately. It picks up right from where the last season ended. And we get this new shot of the Justice League hovering that removes certain characters and adds certain characters to make it the Justice Gang, plus a noticeable double edition of Superman and Supergirl. And so they're now saying Peacemaker is set in the DCU the entire time, which means the Suicide Squad is set in the DCU. Rob, straighten this out for us because you're our continuity guy.
We talked this episode. Yeah. I still think, given what they're kind of teasing here, like this sort of, we got a little bit of the pocket dimension stuff in Superman, but this idea, this like multiversal door, that's part of Peacemaker's origin. I think this is just another version of season 1 of Peacemaker and of the Suicide Squad, one that happened almost identical to what we saw in the old DCEU, but it just happened here in this new universe James Gunn is setting up. So I think they're trying to like have their cake and eat it too, so to speak. And I do wonder by the end of the season, because they're being very secretive about like the back 3 episodes, like something happens or there's going to be big cameos. I wonder if they will solidify what that actually means and like clearly draw the lines of like what they're pulling forward from the old universe and what is actually new. Because like that scene you're talking about where we see the new version of the Justice League, which is the Justice Gang and the new characters we've met. To me, that just solidifies like, hey, this is Peacemaker season 2, but a different universe is Peacemaker season 2. Pretend it all happened the same. You know what I mean? That's my read on it until we know more. I am very genuinely curious if James Gunn will really clarify that, or just like, that's a nod to the fans, just accept it and we're moving on sort of thing. So I'm unclear at this point.
Janelle, we love to traumatize you weekly. How are you with Peacemaker season 2, episode 1?
No trauma, all excitement. This was absolutely stellar. That's my favorite word of all time, by the way. So I'm so excited when I get to use it. It's very rare that I do. I am just beyond excited about this. I was waiting with bated breath last night for it to drop. I am so glad this is a weekly release. I'm so excited to be viewing like a show again every week and be excited about it. I love where our characters are all at and how they're showing what they're dealing with in their lives. Peacemaker has changed a lot. Like his personality has shifted so much. And then to see him interact with one that sort of acts like his former self was so refreshing and good, because it felt like they were actually acknowledging that, you know, like, look how much he has changed. Like he is literally a different person. And I'm thrilled about this. I don't know where we're going from here. And that feels so good, because when I look at this trailer and I see certain scenes of them out doing things, I'm like, wait a minute, how does that fit in with what I've seen in this first episode? And that makes me really excited.
Yeah, I think it was funny to it was like a low-key bunch of comedy about, who was it? Economos finally is just like the one who points out, like, all of you are like really doing down bad right now. And Danielle Brooks' character's like, what are you talking about? And he's like, in the line that I actually use this line in real life all the time, but it was great to hear it in the show, is you're at the beginning level of Grand Theft Auto. You're like, yeah. You're like all the way down at the bottom level of Grand Theft Auto right now. And it was hilarious. And even the thing with Harcourt and, like, you know, her trying to deal with stuff by getting beat half to death in a bar and, you know, trying to work that all out. Yeah, it's all good to get back to these being messed up characters. And I think James Gunn's really good at that. Like, these are very flawed, screwed up people, and, you know, trying to do better. And they did something good, but it's still like not working out for them. And so I think it's also good that Gunn is kind of doing the thing with multiverse storytelling that we've wanted the franchise to do, which is multiversal storytelling exists to be a thematic point, which is the whole, you know, A Wonderful Life of it all. Like, what if things were different? Would they necessarily always be so good? Could they go wrong? Maybe I should just appreciate the life I have. That's the whole point of the great cult film, The Butterfly Effect, folks. Go back and watch. You can really screw things up in trying to get that better life you think you deserve or whatever. So that's the point of it. And I think already in this first episode, like that whole scene with bringing in Roy from The Office as his brother and, you know, having this different version of his family dynamic, like, that was the thing where I was like, okay, I locked into that and I'm like, okay, I see. That's good storytelling. That's like how you're using the multiverse to really consider, like, who could I have been? What could I have been? And then I think James Gunn's going to mix that kind of heavy sci-fi drama with comedy. Like Peacemaker's crazy ass bumbling attempts to actually steal a life that's not his after we get to this drastic point. By the way, I was trying to finish this last night and I was dead tired because I had a long day and I passed out for like the last 10 minutes. So I woke up on the final shot and it was just like, what in the... And then I had to like immediately like rewind.
Wait, so hold on a second. Like, how many episodes have you seen then, Kofi?
I've only seen. I didn't get any previews for this. I am with the audience.
That's good.
So you're sitting over there.
I would say, well, because we did the interviews for Comic-Con, so I've seen the first 5, and I'm not gonna like spoil anything or whatever. Same. But I think like I don't know how you feel about this, Rob, but like it really solidified for me why the weekly model, and this goes back to a Screen Run Underground, like, you know, debate, but like this show in particular is so good with a weekly model because I watched the first 5 episodes over the course of probably like 2 days, I think. And I feel like I didn't savor it enough. Like, I feel like I'm going to have to go back and like rewatch it some, because I feel like when these next, like, you know, 3 episodes or something come out and it's over, I'm going to be like, shit, like I wish I'd taken more, kind of like a slower
Thank
pace
you.
with it or something like that.
Ben.
I really
Team
enjoyed it.
Weekly. Let's
No.
go.
You're not going to win me
Yes.
over. I'm team binge all the way. All the way.
Man, you guys, too many people with this binary
Finally,
thinking.
I have someone.
I'm team batch. I'm in the middle.
I'm
You
Team
team,
batch.
you team 3
I
episodes.
watch when
back.
I want to watch. Enjoy my stories my way.
Batch is the ultimate. Getting 2 episodes of Alien Earth in that premiere.
Guys, there's 15 awesome
That
shows on
was
right now. I can't
great,
go from chapter
though,
to chapter
Kofi.
of all these different,
I need batches. Andor did it right. Andor did it so right. That
That's a
was
good
great.
example.
Getting a movie every week, that's what a batch does for you.
That's
Can I-
really cool. You're right.
Yeah, a
Can I-
little mini movie every week.
I'll add one thing to what Ben is saying, though. For the first 5 episodes, like no spoilers, this is like, maybe it goes to what you were saying about the weekly format, but it does say a lot about how James Gunn is like a master of these little character pieces. And like, there's so much joy in just watching the ups and downs, the successes and failures, and the emotional reactions to like all of these flawed characters doing their thing. Creature Commandos did that in a brilliant way. Each episode, I fell in love with a character I did not like or care about. This is like the extreme version of that. And I think Cena, to his credit, like is putting on an acting shop when you watch these 5 episodes. This 5 episodes, to be clear, it's all just character work and dialogue.
Yeah.
It's not superhero stuff. There's no vigilante doing anything. You see Adrian once or twice, but it's all character work. And I really want to call out Steve Agee as like, or Agee, however you pronounce that. He's such a great character or audience avatar into this craziness. Whether he's in the background or foreground, the way he reacts to things and that has to like weave it all these character threads together, brilliant. And also a nice surprise, like Jennifer Holland, James Gunn's wife, is like her and Steve really carry a tremendous amount of screen time with very powerful moments, and they do it really well. And so I'm just loving the character journeys. In addition to the excitement of wondering what's going to happen next, it's just brilliant James Gunn character work with time to breathe. So I think that's really special.
Yeah, and I think you need to put some respect on Jen's name because I know a lot of y'all love to sub out there and be like, she's only there because she's James Gunn's wife.
Yeah.
No, James Gunn just knew a good actress and married her. Good
His whole
move.
cast. He knows how to pick them. Yep.
Yeah, just good move. Because, I mean, you see scenes like that bar scene, you're like, oh, no, yeah. Like, she's got this. She just did a bunch of drama, a bunch of action with the Linda Hamilton arms and stuff. Like, yeah.
She's shining in this episode. The other thing that I loved about this episode is it's just action packed. Like there's no dead time. It's not boring in any way. Like every part of it, like it just flew by so quickly that I agree with you, Ben. Like I need to go back and rewatch it again, honestly. And I will.
That was a good premiere. It was a very good premiere. It did all the things. Like it nailed checked all the boxes off. And even the sequences and it was just a good, well strung together series of vignettes. Like you can say there's this sequence, there's this sequence, there's this sequence, and it's very James Gunn. Like he has it all plotted out and it works. So like you get a scene with Peacemaker driving with Danielle Brooks and they're figuring, and there's a bunch of stuff development that they're developing talking there, right? Then she drops him off and it's a Justice Gang interview and there's a whole comedic sequence with the microphone and like that whole thing that also again informative and stuff like that. And then that becomes the catalyst for Peacemaker to go home. Then we get an orgy sequence because that we like seamlessly just cascade into, and and then from that orgy and being on drugs leads into I should go through the portal door, and then it's just one, like Janelle said, it's just one kind of like Rube Goldberg machine of things happening where every part is a nice little fun mousetrap that you get to watch go off, and then you're like, okay, to this next thing, and it's not a moment felt like it was wasted. So yeah, good job.
I just need to rewatch more shows. Maybe that's my problem.
Oh, I thought you were going to say I need to rewatch the orgy scene because that's where the chat was.
Yeah,
I mean, he was thinking it.
That is
I was like, go ahead, get your half speed on, player. Get your
I'm
half
kind of
speed
with
on.
you though. Like I see like an orgy scene now, and I'm kind of just like, I don't know. This looks sweaty and gross. I can't handle it.
Yeah, I'm at that age. I'm just like,
gosh.
ugh. Yeah. I'm like, is there enough Scotch Guard in there? Yeah.
I feel like that's what he was going for, though. He wasn't like trying to make it sexy. Like it was like,
Oh no, it was a despair orgy. Yes.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yes, we're all old enough to know the difference between a happy orgy and a despair orgy, and I'm in pain, a breakup orgy, that kind of stuff. Or if you've just been in LA on the wrong night, depending.
Yep.
Oh man, there's a lot packed in that joke. Let's move on. But yeah, no, I think we're all happy this is back. I mean, and we wrote about this and we talked about this on this show because we've been stumping for the DCEU since Peacemaker season 1 was here. We've been like, hey, it's their year. every year on the show. We are the Dallas Cowboys of entertainment podcasts. Yeah. So, but it feels like this. I think I still maintain the point that Peacemaker is what James Gunn did with that, between that, Suicide Squad, Superman, is still the most comprehensive example of what people want to do with multi-platform, shared universe kind of integration. Like, it's its own corner with its own characters that we care about, but it still can matter or reflect things that the movies are doing without kind of without either one weighing down the other. And it's kind of playing in that space very well. So we'll be back to talk about each episode, especially like when things start to get really crazy. Let's talk about Alien Earth real quick, and then Ben and Rob, you guys can get out here while me and Janelle talk about comics. Alien Earth Episode 3. So this is one I have seen everything, because I binged the living hell out of this, and then
You've seen more of this than I have. So we're on the opposite sides of this, because I'm week to week on this, and Rob, you've seen all the episodes?
I watched all 8. Yeah.
Rob, I don't know. If
you gotta stop. You are the.
I know.
You are the person in charge, and also the person who is cursing the most in this episode. Which is gonna have to punch all of this.
I thought that we were just allowed to do that now.
Oh, is this?
No, we get. It's like TV rules. We get like 1. Ben's used like 5.
Okay, noted.
Like when we used to do the Screen Rant Underground podcast, I was also the clean one. Like, I was the one that had to do all the editing, and also like I had been coming off of a previous career working with like youth and stuff like that, and I was like, well, if any of them listen to this, I don't want to be the guy that's like,
Aww,
F this and screw that and stuff like that. And like that just went out the window as soon as you stopped doing, like, as soon as I come up the podcast, I have like I just drop F-bombs left and right. So sorry, Rich and Peter and whoever's gonna have to edit this. I apologize.
I apologize to all my young nieces and nephews watching.
Yeah,
I apologize for the mean man and his naughty mouth. No, I'm just kidding. All the kids are older now. They know way more than that. But all right. So Alien Earth, let's talk about episode 3. So there was a 2-episode premiere, but that was essentially like getting one big movie. It really begins, you kind of get to measure a series when you start to get into this, like episode 3 and what happened. I like this episode because I think Noah Hawley's good at unexpected pacing. So like the first part of this episode is very action-packed, very heavy. But then the second half is a lot of development and like kind of intrigue. But I still think like this, I keep saying this, is doing what a good TV show, and Noah Hawley's like a master of this. He watches something like Fargo and he's like, ooh, that's interesting, but that whole concept could be bigger. Like, what other crime stuff is out there in the Midwest? Aren't there gangs? Aren't there mobs? Aren't there this, that, and the other? Like, he plays with that. So the whole term Fargo in North Dakota becomes this whole playground for a bunch of other stuff. Legion, again, X-Men, they have psychic powers. That's the part I'm interested in. What is a psychic power like? Like, what is it to go in people's minds, to play with people's minds, to not be able to control your own mind and all of that? And then meanwhile, there's this nefarious mind eater out there screwing with everything. But that's the part. He didn't care about like X-Men powers like laser blasts and all that stuff, right? Like, it was the psychic aspect of it that he really wanted to dig into. With Alien, it's very clear that he saw that there were just limitations with this world, and the term alien was too small for him. So we get like these new creatures that are all creepy, crawly things. And also he obviously kind of heard the surrounding lore of Alien, the original movie, the corporations, the people sent as jobbers out into space and to face horrific conditions and creatures and all this other stuff for a paycheck. And he was like, well, what's at the heart of all that? Like, what is it on Earth that makes all of this crazy stuff happen? And so I think we're doing a good job of that. And I think this episode does build a lot of intrigue and does some pretty bold things for the franchise. Like, where this ends with Wendy and the kind of like xenomorph frequency thing is a pretty big deal. Like, that's pretty nuts to do, to kind of create this link between synths or hybrids and xenomorphs, and like, what does that mean? Janelle, what'd you think of this episode? Because I'm always curious. This is not your bag.
I mean, sci-fi is. It's just horror isn't. So it's a weird love-hate relationship because like I just want to like I really want to immerse myself in the story because I'm so into it. I love that these are children in synth bodies, and these actors are so great at playing children in adult bodies. And I really, really love the way that they have brought Alien to Earth. I think it's absolutely petrifying. The only thing, and I just wanted to ask for clarification from you guys, what is going on in the end here with this like organic, like they're putting the little alien sperm guy in the jar. I mean, that's all.
I don't want to nerd out too much. I don't want to nerd out too much, but yeah, because I did write an article about this. This is the first time you get basically what Noah Hawley does in that scene is for the first time you get to see what it is that happens inside of somebody when they get essentially impregnated with a xenomorph.
What is that? Is that a lung? Did they take his lung?
Yeah, it was Hermit's lung.
Okay, I wasn't quite sure. Like, were they going to put it back in him? Like, I didn't know. Like, I guess they gave him a synthetic lung.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so they fixed him up with something else, and they took his damaged lung and they hooked it up to life support. And the reveal is that there is a xenomorph larva because that was never kind of explicitly stated. You don't know whether the face hugger put like some kind of egg into them and then the egg hatches, but no, it's like what Noah Hawley just did there was like, nope, like right from conception, like xenomorphs.
That's really cool. What a really cool way to give us information.
Like, vicious little predators that forcibly dig inside you, sit there, gestate, and then burst out. So you get to see it from the inside for the first time. So that was just some nerd stuff for people like me.
That was great.
Because I was like, oh wow, like I was up there like, oh crap, like yeah. And so that was just a little kind of deep cut lore stuff. But that's what the show's doing. Like that was a moment for me who was like on the edge of a seat, like I can't believe they're cutting a xenomorph out of a face hugger and they're like throwing it in there. That's crazy. Yeah, so all of that is good, and I love that at the heart of it there's a story and again characters we care about. Like I care about these kids, and I said it last week, like the real intrigue is not these kids being killed or in mortal danger, but like what happens to them mentally and emotionally as they're going through these things. And you see that with Smee and Morrow when he's like playing with him, when he figures out they're kids and he's like, oh, and you can see him shift
that guy.
And kind of just start manipulating them.
He's doing a good job of making me hate him.
Oh no. Oh, Morrow's a great character.
Yeah. I hate him.
Morrow's a great character.
Yeah.
Because I mean but when you think about who he is, it's just nuts. He's just a jobber who sacrificed his entire life to this. Like, and he comes back to an Earth he knows nobody, and he's just like, yeah. I mean, that speech where he tells you, Tony, like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't need a home. I don't have a life anymore. Like, this is my life. I'm gonna catch these things. Like, that's pretty much all I gotta do. But we also got a xenomorph fight in this, and I thought the effects, like, when they're pulling out some of these close-up xenomorph things, there's obviously CGI ones, but they're getting some of the animatronic ones, spending some money, doing some set pieces, and looking good. And
this looks like a movie to me, honestly. It's so well done, in my opinion.
I was telling Kofi this last night at dinner because I was like recommending the show to some of like our coworkers and stuff, and that's more on like the savage side.
I want to go to dinner.
Oh yeah, I didn't do a very good job about it. It sounds like I'm gonna be down like once a month from now on, so we'll go do.
Well, this wasn't we weren't in happy visit mode. We were figuring
like
things out.
Strategy mode,
business mode. Got it.
Yeah. But no, we'll do that next time for sure. But I was telling Kofi and these guys, like, it's so telling because I sat down in my hotel room to watch episode 3 a couple days ago, and I was going to be eating dinner. And so I said, okay, well, I can't do it now because I can't put my headphones on and I can't just like immerse myself in it. Like I'm going to be eating. So I like waited to watch the episode until I could like sit down, put headphones in, hear the like sound design and like creatures skittering around. And like, I'm just so immersed in the way that he's recreated this, like, this kind of like world. And I don't want to just like watch it as something that I'm kind of like watching while I'm in between different things, or I don't have like the full immersive effect of like all of the aspects of the filmmaking that he's putting into this. because I do think the sound design is actually, I'm not like a big, like, I don't know, like cinephile person who's like, oh, the sound design was amazing in that. But like, even just like the face huggers like shifting around and gurgling in the eggs and stuff, it's like all that is used for such like atmospheric effect that I can't just like watch it as kind of a half-ass thing that I do. But so I think that speaks to it. I mean, it really speaks to like how great the show is and what he's doing with building the tension in it.
All right. So, I mean, look at this. Who would have thought that we'd be in this time where we're getting geektastic TV across 2 genres, 2 franchises that are making, you know, pretty damn well successful jumps to the small screen. So, hey man, maybe we're in a revolution. I'm getting higher hopes for things like Lanterns now. And it's kind of, I'm not trying to start anything by saying this, but ball really is in Marvel's court to kind of pull up some of this TV content. Like, holy crap.
Yeah, it's good for Disney though.
And Star Wars, we'll throw that in there too.
100%. I mean, Alien and Predator are more exciting and have a more prosperous, like, story-based future right now than anything Star Wars and Marvel doing in TV.
You can read about them. Hey, comicbook.com has those exact articles. Yay.
Oh, there you go. You check
Alien
that out.
and Predator doing what the MCU wishes it could do.
Yeah. Well, that's the difference between bringing in someone like Noah Hawley, who they had for Legion. But Ben, to add to your point, you're spot on with the sound design. It's like the comparison. And I'll say one point about this. I like really love the production design and watching the show. I so love that it has the budget and the time to like years to make this happen the way Noah wanted to do it. And it's a show I think about of all like the 15 amazing prestige shows across all these streamers I'm watching. This is the one that I love thinking about. And the more I think about it, the more curious I am. And I love watching it, but I don't love thinking about the canon and lore of it all unless I think of it as an alternate reality. The same way like Fargo was his take on Fargo and he expanded it, then he added layers to it. I think it's that type of storytelling. I do not believe right now this is in the canon. I don't think it makes sense. The way they handle the corporations, the way the xenomorphs are introduced, how they find them. Even episode 3 begins with them saying we have 5 undiscovered species. I'm trying to figure out the timeline of that, where and when that actually began, and where and when Weyland and Yutani were actually merged, because it does not line up with the films. It does not line up with Prometheus right now, not clearly, anyways. So I'm treating this as its own universe, same way I sort of treat Legion. But to the sound design point, if you watch Legion, what really stands out beyond the performances is like the visual aesthetic of the sets, the production design, the camera work, which you see a lot of that in here, like rotating cameras, the way they handle zooms, the close-ups, the transitions, the framing. They do some crazy stuff. And then you add the sound design and then the music choices, which Legion did really well. Even the beginning, when you have the Alien Earth logo come up, you have that amazing sound play. And then you have like a needle drop at the end of each episode, and it's like a banger track. And it's like, it's so stylistically different than the Ridley Scott films, but it totally works. And I'm excited to see more.
I am an Alien timeline nerd. I spend a lot of time writing about Alien lore and timelines and making it fit. I actually just wrote one that people seem to be okay with, which is, you know, there's a key scene in Covenant where David and Walter are talking, you know, Fassbender's talking to Fassbender, and they talk about the progression of synths and how they made David's first. And then they were like, these are too unstable. They're too crazy. And then they started making the Walter types, the emotionless types, the ones that can only follow orders, can't create anything. And so I was just writing about, it does kind of weirdly lose. Alien's always loose. If you're doing dates, none of this makes sense. But the kind of, that's what I'm also going to write about also is Prometheus and Covenant. The more we get into this universe, the more Romulus comes out, Earth comes out. It's like those weren't exact, like here's the exact sequence of events, but it gives you all these pieces for your imagination to put together the rest, right? Mm-hmm. How did we get from we know how we got from Prometheus to Covenant, but then David goes off in the universe. He has face hunger embryos. He starts spreading them around the galaxy. Either eventually, I think I wrote like some crazy theory that like Weyland Yutani would have eventually maybe caught up with him and been like, where is this rogue android? Oh, he's discovered this biological thing. We need to gather these things. Then you get something like the Maganaut mission for 70 years out there to go find this stuff out in the reaches of space. And then you get, and I think this is all going to get eventually, because this can be maybe a multi-season show. They've already said there's a possibility of that. And I think at the end of this, what the kernel we really need is there was a kind of machine arms race that took place between like what should be the form of machine intelligence or the thing that's going to help humanity, because that's the overarching thing of Alien, right? It's this large scale attempt to achieve post-humanity. What is going to be the thing that helps humans become strong enough to survive in different planets, to colonize the galaxy, to survive on Earth better? And it's either going to be a mechanical solution or a biological solution through one of these mediums. And so I think to get to the beginning of Alien, all we really got to do by the end of this, because remember, Alien only shows us one corporation, all the movies. We only see the Weyland-Yutani line of things. So we only see their synthetics, their kind of biological pursuits. But I think what Halley's brilliantly doing is expanding it so that future films and things will have a much bigger sandbox to pull from for this.
If it's the same canon.
But, yeah. But right. I mean, even if it's not, because Alien's loose. So maybe Fede Alvarez does an Alien movie next about a team of Weyland-Yutani people going to get a sample, but then they got to also take on a team of Prodigy whatevers like that are out there searching for the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Like this lore can begin to get a lot bigger, have more players, more factors and layers to it that they can now take these ideas from and incorporate into the future movies.
What's interesting is that Prometheus was purely Weyland, and Weyland himself, as the reveal goes, Guy Pearce is on that ship, and like the timeline of that. What?
I was looking at the comments. Michael Gammon,
I was trying to figure that out too. I couldn't.
I was like Michael Gammon, you need to tell me if there was some crazy, sexy stuff happening in the show. There is nothing sexy about this show whatsoever. No. First of all, buddy, this is about your kids, right? Like, let's chill. Let's chill.
I love that pitch meeting. It's like, we're going to bring aliens to Earth, also children robots. It's like, what? I love that Noah was able to do that. That whole Lost Boys thing is kind of a whole interesting spin and focus. So just like you called out, like the psychic warfare element of Legion, like that was like the focal point, which you wouldn't expect when you think of like X-Men prequel about Xavier's son or whatever, you know? So
I have a quick, just like lore related question. Do we like, is it canon that they like smell fear? Like the aliens, like that you could theoretically stand there and like try and like not be fearful and not get
it is. Is it? David kind of demonstrates that in Covenant, right? Like he hatches a xenomorph from Billy Crudup's body, and then he's like doing the thing where he's like standing and he talks about breathing on the nostrils of a horse and they'll follow you forever. Yeah, they have suggested over time, like in different ones, that xenomorphs are intelligent enough to and they have that kind of weird dog or animal mentality where they can where you can present yourself as the dominant one if you catch them early. That was the whole thing. Like, and there was also the newborn in whatchamacallit Resurrection, who kind of knew that Sigourney Weaver was its mother and all that stuff. So they have those instincts. I don't think it's ever been, I mean, technically Romulus and Earth are the only ones to actually say the word xenomorph.
Yeah.
Like, so
that this just proves I was the wrong guy to write the Screen Rant's version of Prometheus and how it connects and sets up the xenomorphs and stuff like that. I just remember Vic was so mad about the end of that movie with the big like octopus thing or whatever. And like,
I just rewatched that movie. I just rewatched that 2 days ago. Yeah, I mean, you need to stand on that.
Well, I called it. I was ahead of my time.
Yeah, you stood on 10 toes about Prometheus. Yeah, 4 stars, and it's gotten better with time.
4.5, Kofi.
Oh, I mean, I don't think he's wrong. I think it's gotten so much better with time. I'm just like, this is actually a good sci-fi movie. Once you take your alien hopes out of it, and you're just like some movie about some people who go to the wrong planet.
Once you take your alien hopes out of it, that's a big caveat, my man.
No, but that's what I mean, though. Like when you watch Covenant and Prometheus, it's not the xenomorphs are just a random mutation. They're not like the thing. They're not like a specific purposeful species. That's kind of like what that movie established. Prometheus established it. Like the mutagen goo is just something that mutates random things.
Let's bring back the engineers, baby. Life. We should go all in on that Jesus storyline that was initially pitched, right? That should be the follow-up to this season.
To answer the chat, no, I don't think I believe, check my math, but I'm pretty sure there is no movie mention of the word xenomorph until about Romulus or that it's spoken. I don't think aliens, they ever call them. They're never named. They're just these things.
I don't recall.
It feels like something they would have said in Alien 3.
In Aliens or the second one, I thought they might have been hunted.
Well, we'll look it up. We'll look it up.
Good question.
Good question. Sounds like good content. Text your writers. All right.
The race to Asana begins.
So that's it. We're going to be keeping up with this Alien Earth week to week because I think it is doing something good for horror TV, genre TV. And if we can do this, I'm wondering if we can get off a Predator series. We'll see. We'll see what that's about after Predator Badlands. But all right. Rob, Ben, if you guys need to drop off, why don't you get back to work running things? I know we all got a lot to do. It's Friday. So, and there are things happening, Things, look at that.
I guess
things
so. Do we want to tell people to subscribe to the Podcast X feed in the event?
Totally.
If you guys want to hear us, maybe come back. Me, Rob, and Ben have a podcast that's kind of our sequel podcast to the Screen Rant Underground, where we talk a lot more explicitly. It's just our podcast, so it's not like owned by one of the companies. So we just talk explicitly. We tell stories, behind the scenes stories of our misadventures in the industry over 17 years. And you can also hear some of our real unfiltered opinions about all this content and stuff and hear us argue and fight about things because, it's all good.
Subscribe.
So, yeah.
It's
This Podcast X. There is some weird Russian podcast about like Russian
What?
Podcast X.
Right.
Don't get confused. Ours is called. You can type in "What is Podcast X" and find us pretty easily, or on Spotify or other platforms. So subscribe to that, and if we see some subscriptions go up, maybe we'll be motivated to get back in the studio.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for the people who are on this that have been, the people in the chat are giving us a hard time because it's been like a year since we did it. It's just like, man, we run this thing, like Rob runs Screen Rant. There's just a lot going on, and we obviously love talking to each other, and we obviously would love to be on there all the time. It's so hard for us to get into a rhythm. But I think if people enjoy hearing us talk, they like the Screen Rant Underground, it is inevitable that we'll drop in with an episode here or there, or we'll keep your expectations on cadence low. But
also quality.
If you like it.
We have never had show notes. In fact, I don't think I've ever started an episode of Podcast X knowing what we're talking about. Yeah. And we always record when we're so tired. Kofi and I are barely awake.
It's like we're all
hyping this up.
Now, I talked to a lot of podders today, and I tried to explain to them that back in the golden day, you could pod and fall asleep and,
go to the bathroom, right?
Yeah. Kofi used to take peas with his mic on. Not realizing the mic.
Not just once, multiple times.
Dude, we were recording at midnight to 3 a.m., and I was trying to maintain.
That's us,
my
baby.
sanity. Yeah, I forgot about it. I didn't realize that happened. I forgot that happened. Yeah,
I'll never forget.
I was just in nothing oh.
Every time where we'd be like, hey, so Kofi, what do you think about that? And then it'd just be dead silence, and be like, all right, Kofi's asleep. He's gone.
Yeah.
But no, I wanted to say it because people do ask us a lot to come back and do it, and it is fun. We want to do it. The three of us still very much get along and are
we're texting about doing pods every 2 weeks. We just never actually do the pod part.
There ends up being a week where it's Rob will be like, let's do it. And then he'll be like, let's start next week. And then Kofi and I are dealing with something, or one of us has it's just we're all in different time zones. It's just hard to get it together.
We're sounding so old. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we will. Yeah. Subscribe. There will be episodes. And we'll have some fun. Janelle, thank you for letting us crash your party here.
Thank you for letting me be here late and talking over y'all, trying to sound check. Gotta love internet. It's great.
Yeah, the next time I'm in Nashville, we'll do a little dinner out or something.
Mom's day out. Let's go.
That's it.
Nice.
Sounds good. All right. Well, thank you guys for having us.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Kofi. Love you guys. See ya.
Bye.
And then there were
all right.
two.
Okay, we got it on the chat. Chat dug it up. I was wrong. Aliens was the first to mention Xenomorph. So Zach G, you get the prize today. Zach G in the comments.
Shirt.
No shirt, but you get the props. Zach G and the chat. Good job. I was mistaken about that. All right. So let's talk comics before we get out of here real quick. Janelle, first up, let's talk about Spider-Gwen, Ghost Spider, #1. Marvel has launched a new Ghost Spider book. I was interested to see what you thought.
Oh my gosh. I'm so glad that you chose this book. How freaking awesome. I'm not super familiar with Spider-Gwen. So this is a beautiful, I wouldn't say introduction, but I guess like maybe probably like the second to third time I've read one of hers. And so I'm absolutely just loving this. I love this like broken relationship situation like that she's going through. I don't know the other character. Is it Tarantula? Is that
Yeah,
right?
I mean, Tarantulas, they kind of reinvented him, his son.
Okay.
Yeah, the original Tarantula is just a
I don't
guy. He was a
know
Spanish guy
him.
in a Spider-Man costume.
Okay.
With venom toes or something like that.
But
stingers.
I'm loving this like kind of weird uncomfortable love situationship. There we go. I'm loving their situationship. This is so cool to see it like played out in a comic because isn't that how dating really is? It's just like so weird and you don't know and like you think you like someone but you don't know if they like you back and then you're like confused because they do something or they say something and then you're overthinking. I loved that. Like I just thought that was really cool and relatable and awesome. I loved the art in this. I really loved this whole read. I do have to tell you, Kofi, I read this one first, and then you texted me and you're like, hey, you got to read Batman. And unfortunately, Batman outshined this so much that I don't even remember a lot of the little details from the story because Batman had a chokehold on me. So that's the truth. That's the honest truth. I loved it. And then I read Batman. I was like, oh, no, wait, sorry. I love the Batman one. So what did you think about it?
I'm not going to hold you. Yeah, I was muted. I'm not going to hold you. We won't belay this. I thought this was a solid kind of Spider-Gwen jumping on point for Gen Z readers. Like it was very Gen Z coded. Like
that is
Spider-Gwen.
exactly. Oh my gosh, you're right.
And so I didn't think it was wrong. I thought it was good. It was like, okay, cool. I get it. It wasn't necessarily the book for me, but it was. I thought I wanted to give it a chance because Spider-Gwen has become such a important character and just like a centerpiece of so many things in Marvel lore beyond the comics. So I was like, oh, I wonder what they're doing with her. But I was just like, yeah, this is okay. Not for me. I like some of her mini series before this that they did. So that was kind of cool. But all right, let's talk about the real juice. Yeah, because like you, somehow the week had gotten convoluted and I didn't read the DC books. And then I remembered like yesterday, I was like, oh man, I wonder what DC put out this week. And then I started hearing rumblings about Absolute Batman. And I was like, absolutely. So I jumped in and read that. And yeah, Absolute Batman 11 is freaking wild. This is an origin story for Absolute Bane and has just like everything else in this line. Like this and Ultimate Marvel are so crazy. And if you're a comic fan of these two publishers, you know this right now. Like these alt universe lines are just so crazy good. It is making it tough for the main lines. But
seriously.
Yeah, it's just this book does what we always needed to do for Bane. Giving Scott Snyder the keys and letting him reinvent Bane was great because this book is the first time. The big question about Bane always is like, we hear all this stuff about why he's Batman's equal. And you see something like that original Nightfall run where he spends time studying Batman, wearing him down by releasing all these different villains for him to fight nonstop. And then eventually beats Batman up, but he has this phobia of Batman, right? This book makes you realize why this Bane very much is Batman's equal because of what he's been through, how he trains, how his mind works, like in all of this stuff. And you see the key difference is Batman would do anything is a guy who would do anything to save his father. Whereas this book makes it clear, like Bane is a guy who got to where he is through the sacrifice of killing his father, which was so messed up and just like,
but it was quick. Like they didn't even really like I don't even know why he did it in this. He just did it. Like, did that guy like offer him something, or did that guy brainwash him?
Well, that's the funny. Okay, so that guy in the chat's asking the question from the opposite end. That guy in the book is Joker.
Okay.
The man who never laughs is Joker.
Okay.
And it's unclear. We've seen Joker appear since the very first issue.
Mm-hmm.
He's the person Alfred is looking for and has never been able to find. There's implication that he's some kind of like CIA type dude, some kind of disruptor, some person who has information or just ways to kind of manipulate people and minds. And obviously the intrigue in this book and the mystery that's left is, what did he say to Bane that made Bane, after everything we've seen him go through?
Yeah.
I like how Snyder did that, because this is also a very subtle but powerful introduction to who the Joker is in this universe. He's not the guy necessarily spraying acid on people.
Yeah.
But he is the guy who, and Joker is kind of like that when he's putting worms into your brain verbally.
Crazy.
Talking you into madness or talking you into something crazy. And yeah, he like, you know, the offer was, here's how I can bring real peace to this while your dad's just going to cause more war. And it was just like, do you really want this thing you want? And it was just like, okay, you got to kill the old generation and build something new. So Joker's kind of, like I said, he's like more like a really sociopathic CIA agent who's just kind of like running around manipulating things. But
wild. Yeah.
And this was also a powerful backdoor kind of introduction to what he will be as a threat. What did you make of the end? Because that threw me the first time.
I mean, I was going to ask you, like, what was happening? Like, what was going on? Okay. The thing is there are a few things that I didn't quite connect or didn't really understand or follow. However, it just made me want to check it, like go back over it. It didn't turn me off from the comic. I wasn't like, oh my gosh, I'm not into this. It was, oh my gosh, okay, clearly I'm doing something wrong here. I need to look at this deeper. Like, for example, the Joker thing. I didn't know. I was like, is that the Joker? He kind of mentioned the Joker, but I didn't know if that's a Joker. He doesn't look like the Joker, but he's like a hot Joker with sexy ladies like around him. You know what I mean? So wait, can you just please, why don't you cook on the end first and then I'll support.
I had to reread it 3 times because it was super duper confusing.
Yes.
And I was like horrified halfway through. I was like, what is happening here? From what I took rereading it is the whole book is framed as Alfred talking out loud or thinking out loud to Bruce about like the guilt of not telling him who Bane is, what Bane is capable of. And like what would happen.
Not telling Batman.
Yeah. And correct. Like what Bane wants from him and like what would happen if he goes up to Bane. So it's a what if issue. It's like the last issue we saw Batman and Killer Croc bug out and escape, right? Killer Croc's, as people are saying in the chat, Killer Croc's nowhere in this. So this wasn't a real Batman. It was a fantasy scenario. Alfred was saying Bane is so capable he could come into Gotham City, track you down wherever the hell you are. And because he has all these backstory and skills, find you, beat you half to death, or beat you pretty much to death. And then they can rebuild you and make you their slave. And so that thing we saw at the end, I don't think that's happened yet, where it's the Batman with all the cybernetic, like, kind of enhancements. That's the plan. And Alfred is saying it's inevitable. Like, Bane is so powerful. This is what would happen if he had just decided to come directly for you.
That's good clarification.
In the end, the twist is, but he didn't decide to come directly for you because he knows that you need to be kind of broken another way. Like him physically breaking you is not what will make you their willing kind of tool and slave of Lazarus. It's, we have to break the people we have to break your connections, the things you care about. And so at the very end, he's like, he shows up at his friend's door at like Penguin and Riddler and them. And he's going to hurt them to take away things from Bruce and to begin to psychologically break Bruce. And so that's kind of what I took from that.
Okay. That makes sense. It's just
because and it makes sense when you put it back together because it's a story that's told from you from different ways. But that's what Bane had to do. It was the implication in the issue is that Bane is the sole survivor of this process because he has such a resolve and such will that he was even able to kill his own father, survive in that prison, hanging from the bars all those years, that his will is so indomitable that they're looking for somebody who can have that same level of resolve and will. But in this issue, when Alfred's going through the fantasy scenario, he says, even though they will rebuild you, you won't be Bane yet.
Yes.
Until he psychologically conditions you and gets you to a place where you're going to have such strong will to fix things, to fix the city, to clean up everything, that we can put you through this horrific Venom process and turn you into something that'll be the next Bane. So it's kind of nuts.
So this was all hypothetical. It didn't actually happen with Batman.
No, I don't think so.
But what is happening is that Bane's going for his friends.
Yes.
Ugh, scary.
Yeah,
and that is the way to break Batman.
Yeah, that's the effect. And that's the effect, right? Like,
yeah.
Now you're instantly, because of that what if, you're instantly terrified for everybody. You're like, oh, that's
including Batman. Wow, what a
Exactly.
successful dude. They're crushing these. Like,
yeah. And
there's not one I dislike. I'm excited.
No, there's been like one slow one, but not one I've disliked.
Yeah.
And Bane is a character who has gotten so popular in pop culture thanks to like the Nolan movies. But there's always this internal argument that he's never fully been realized the right way.
Oh, yeah, I agree. He's not scary to me because of Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
The animated. I'm like, oh, he's just a big doofus. You know, he's like, you know. And in this, he was petrifying.
Yeah. So now we have a Bane who's very much an equal and a foil to Batman in the ways that we've always wanted. And
yeah, pretty amazing.
Yeah. So yeah, this was crazy. So we are still all in, no pun intended, on DC and on these absolute books. So I'm glad you enjoyed. I hope it wasn't too traumatizing for you.
Nah, it was good. I mean, it hurt definitely, the whole sun thing, but yeah, it was great. And Judah and I will probably be playing the Lego Batman game. Yes. Thank you for asking.
Okay. All right. So some announcements for Comic Book Nation. This is the end of our show. We are here every week. Subscribe to the main comicbook.com channel. We may be back over there pretty soon. And subscribe on your podcast platforms, por favor. Also, I think we're going to be doing some more kind of community engagement stuff. So look for us in the comments of articles, and we may have some other fun ways to build this community beyond this podcast, linking it with the site and chat threads and things like that.
Ooh,
so we may have some more conversations, and I would expect everybody on this who's listening to this, all of our live chat people, to be some of the first to kind of get in on that, because I'd love to talk to you guys more, interact with you guys more, and through those kind of, not through the randomness of 50 social media platforms. All right, let's get out of here. It's been a long week. Time for a weekend. Time to watch some content, read some content, and have a good time. Thank you, Janelle, for hopping on with me.
Yeah.
Sorry, we were trying to really pull off a Screen Rant Underground reunion. And
no, I'm sorry.
What's going on?
No, I'm so sorry. My internet was out. That's embarrassing, but we
you're all good.
Together.
Yeah. We are good. So thank you for hopping on. Shout out to Ben Kendrick and Rob Keys, my old buddies from Screen Rant and, current still heads of this site and Screen Rant. So they're hard at work now, but thank you to both of them for hopping on. This was fun to kind of just chop it up with you guys again. Another reason not to miss a single episode of Comic Book Nation. And shout out to Matthew Aguilar. I hope you, Grayson, baby Grayson, and the ladies are doing okay. Hope everybody's getting micro naps. I know sleep is impossible, but I hope you're getting a good micro nap, buddy. All right. We'll see everybody next week. Take care. Everybody be safe. This is Comic Book Nation, and we are out.